Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Thunder's YouTube Garage. I'm Paul. My friends call me Thunder, and you can too. And today I'm joined by Amelia. She is going to be my camera woman and helper Saturday, and so she's able to be out here helping me, and I appreciate her help. In this video, we will be continuing part 2 of the 2-part series, repairing the repair panel, or the replacement panel rather, for the back of the Jeep where it rusted out behind the body mount. The last video, we cut out the piece and got it shaped and ready to go in. This video, we will be welding it into place. Anyway, let me get set up and I'll see you back here in just a minute. Okay, I'm gonna actually start out by spot welding the tab on the back. I'm not gonna video that just because there's not a good way to video it with my head in the way and looking back there, but just believe me when I say that I'm gonna spot weld it, and then I'll show you when I tack this together. All right, I'm gonna show you in here where I spot welded that. Hopefully you can see it good, because I couldn't see it that good when I was doing it just because of the angle on it, but that looks like that's held pretty well. It feels solid. A little bit. I'll set up the MIG welder and start welding these seams in here. Now these panels aren't even. Just the nature of the way this Jeep was, everything's a little bit tweaked. As I'm finding out. So we'll just kind of massage everything in place as we go, and so we can get even joints as we weld it, and we'll cross our fingers that it turns out all right. I may actually start welding it from behind first. The reason I would do that is because I would want to build up some weld back behind this to support that panel. Just make it a little bit thicker material behind this panel, and then I'll come around and I'll spot weld the front. And the way that you weld the sheet metal, if you don't know, is you can't weld a bead across it. This is 18 gauge sheet metal, and if you do that, it will warp, but also it'll just get too hot and you can burn holes in it. So you just kind of do spot welds at different places just to help control the heat so that it doesn't warp too much. But what that does is welding it in the back, it actually adds some strength so that when I grind off the welds in the front, that it still has support behind it, and it'll keep these seams strong. This off. Actually need to sand that green paint off.
That already was off. Did it come back?
Well, there's a couple of little spots that... Okay, so on this corner where I had that gap, I actually have this piece of copper that I've bent a little bit to fit around that corner. I just don't want any weld splatter filling in the joint right in here. So while I'm welding that from behind, I'm gonna have Millie push in with the hammer just to close that gap. All right, I welded that from the back side, and it looks pretty good. I did burn a hole in the bottom. Okay, for those professional welders out there, I have a question, and maybe you can help me out. But I think that I have all my settings right on the welder, and I don't know if you could hear it in that last part where I was welding, but I would just get gas and then I'd get my wire burning back, but it wouldn't be creating that arc. It would just melt the wire back. And I don't know why it's doing that. And I don't think it's the welder, the machine. I know it's probably the welder as far as me, but I don't know what it is that I'm doing wrong. I've had another machine that I was welding on before I got the current one, and it would do the same thing, which makes me think that I've got a setting wrong or my technique is not right or something, but I don't know what it is. If anybody had helped me out a little bit, I'd really appreciate it, because I don't know. I've tried to find it on the internet and YouTube videos, but maybe everybody that does welding videos thinks that the people that are watching are competent enough to know better than to do whatever it is that I'm doing. And so I just can't figure it out. Anyway, that turned out pretty good. There's still a few holes, little gaps in there. I'm just going to go back through here. Well, it's not perfect. I've got some body work to do there still. I think that maybe that was just thin. I don't know why it was so thin, but every time I weld it just pull back. I don't know. There's something that I don't understand clearly. And so, but that's what this channel is. I mean, if you came here to learn something, you probably came to the wrong spot. But if you wanted to see me screw up, then welcome aboard. Anyway, yeah. I got a little bit of weld in that seam. I'm gonna cut that out. I have a little saw that I can cut that out. And there's still a little bit of hole. I think I'm gonna come behind it and just weld that in again from the back side. I've certainly made that a lot smaller. And overall, I think it actually turned out pretty good. When it's all said and done, I'll probably end up putting some body filler on. Well, I know I will. I'll put a little bit of body filler on here, but it shouldn't be too much that I need to use. I'm gonna turn that light off. It's probably got a glare in your eye. And but I shouldn't need too much on there. Nothing like what was there. You know, if I even used a 1/16 of an inch, I'd be surprised because it's not really that deep. But anyway, please comment if you can see what it is that I'm doing wrong, or you have any advice or any tips on just how to make it better. Because like I said, I'm learning. I just started welding actually, well, last summer, I guess. And I haven't done a lot. I've done a little bit of practice here and there. But clearly, I need some help. So, well, all right. I think I'm going to call it a day on this project. I know that I had mentioned in another video that I was probably going to weld the bow pockets in the same day that I repaired that patch panel. But as I sat here and looked at this piece for the last 30 minutes or so, just trying to reconcile what maybe I'm doing wrong welding, I figured it probably wasn't the best idea to try to do that one tonight. There are probably a lot of you at home who are banging your head against the wall saying, why don't you go take a welding class? And the fact is, I would absolutely love to. Don't think I haven't thought of it. The one problem that I have is that I do work a full-time job in addition to doing this. I work in a copper mine, and the work schedule that I have isn't, it's not feasible to take a welding class. I work a 5-day on, 5-day off rotation, so my days off are always rotating every week. But also, I rotate from night shift to day shift. So I can't even really schedule a class that I could take in the evening. Anyway, it just doesn't work for taking any kind of class like that. So I'm left to stumble through just by trial and error. And, you know, looking at this piece, it actually turned out better than I thought it would. I didn't really screw it up. I can cover it with, you know, the spots that are just the imperfections in it, I can cover with some body putty, but it actually turned out pretty nice. I'm just frustrated with not really understanding the settings for the welder. The spot that I was having trouble with it hissing, I actually kind of messed around with it off camera, and that metal in that spot was pretty thin from having rusted behind it. I actually welded in a washer behind it to strengthen that, to reinforce that hole. And I think that'll work pretty good when I put the light in. And I don't know. Anyway, like I said, that's going to do it for me today. But I appreciate you watching. Please subscribe if you like what you see, or if you want to comment, I appreciate it. if you have some insight or some knowledge and understanding that you would like to pass on to me, leave a comment. I'm welcome to it. Like I said, I'm just a beginner, and welding, I just don't have really any experience doing it. And so this is just all new to me. And, I'm just kind of fumbling along, doing my best. So, once again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. I appreciate it. And remember that the key to true happiness in this life is to love God and to love your neighbor. I truly believe that, and I will leave that thought with you, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.